The smoke in my lungs, you got me feeling so numb. Oh, all I felt was you. I was out of my mind, you were killing me inside. Yeah, I know the truth. I know it's that I think of you, I'm losing sleep. I don't know what it is you do. The moment that you walked into my life, I started to fall head to toe for you. No, I just can't get over all the games we played. I lose myself in your abuse. You split my heart in two. You I cannot replace, memories cannot erase. No, I don't know how to. What we started for fun got me feeling so numb. I feel just like a fool. I know it's that I think of you, I'm losing sleep. I don't know what it is you do. The moment that you walked into my life, I started to fall head to toe for you. No, I just can't get over all the games we played. I lost myself in your abuse. You split my heart in two.
Wednesday, everybody. How we doing? Good to see you, chat. How we doing, everyone? Good to see you here. It was like out of nowhere, like 8 minutes of just one person watching, and then suddenly everyone jumps on. It's great to see you. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope you are doing well. Welcome to Myles Dyer Live, a live show I host every week on Wednesday at this exact time. You're obviously welcome to join 10 minutes in the lead up. It's just me sitting around while everyone joins in. I've just had a haircut as well, and just had a really wonderful chat with my best friend who came over to discuss business stuff regarding my band. Our album is weeks away. Was on another radio interview the other day, which was pre-recorded, so it's not out yet. It was really, really great, and yeah, glad you like it. I always love it short round the sides, and yeah, sort of. I normally have it a bit longer on top, but I like it. My cousin Julie did it. Much love to my cousin. I've just been such a mess with everything going on, and obviously the start of February, I'm being more optimistic. I've got a new job, which I'm still not able to publicly announce yet, but I'm very excited to in due course. I'm off medication now. I'm feeling a lot better with my health. And yeah, just a lot of aspects are bouncing back. And so for anyone else who is still in the toughness that comes out of a January, I wish you nothing but love and good vibes as you press on, because you know, that is when the effort has to be exerted, is when going through those difficulties. Thank you very much, Mojo. And yeah, February is optimism month. I like that. It is my birthday coming up, though. A week tomorrow, is it? Yeah. My goodness. Oh, my goodness. Maybe I'll have to do an extra long Wednesday show. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, so for those that have tuned in, you may notice that it's a bit of a weird title today. I think it's one that we've touched upon before, but I think it's a really, really important topic. We are obviously delving into the world of mental health and well-being. And yeah, 17th of February is my birthday. Oh, God, going right into the evening. I mean, if I can set up my console up here, that'd be really, really good. But at the moment, I always have to head back to my parents. So long shows aren't really possible. But if we don't do a long show, we can do one the following week or something like that. We can do an extra birthday stream or something. But yeah, as always. Oh, I realised actually I had this host screen. There we go. Look at this. You can check me out on all these things below. My website, mylesdyer.com. Just here. All the information about me and what I do, especially if you're new to me and you're like, who is this guy? If you want to support me, patreon.com/Myles Dyer, and Myles Dyer Official. Instagram is where I'm most active. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who tuned in last week. It was the quiz last week, right? It was really good fun. I had a blast with it, and I think we all concluded that the quiz is now going to become a monthly installment. I'm up for that. I think the poll suggested that was definitely the case. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing more quizzes in future. If we can do one a month, I think that would be great. And then it means I've just got 3 other weeks to think about it. I love the quiz. It was great. Really glad to hear it. And I'm really glad a lot of you liked the outro last week, because I designed an outro card so that I don't just end the stream and you're all kicked off, but instead you can tune in and have some exchanges with me when everything's winding down. So I think that's really, really good as well. Cool. Story of the week. I still don't have title cards for these sections. Maybe. No, you're not too old for Insta. Insta is a great site. Although TikTok is where everything is shifting to at the moment. Oh, you're very, very kind, Callie. I really appreciate that. Those kind words. Um, so yeah, story of the week. So although I've got a new job that is starting on the 7th of March, I'm totally broke, and so I need work in the meantime. And so I got work at a local supermarket, and I was going to be doing night shift. They gave me an offer with a suggested start date, which was Monday of this week. I filled out all the stuff that they needed me to, and then on Friday, I started shifting my body clock. So going to bed later, sleeping in later, because my hours are going to be roughly between 10 at night and 6:30 in the morning. So I started shifting it all, and then they said, "Oh, we're going to have to withdraw the offer if you don't fill out the." It was like a health questionnaire or something like that. I was like, "I've not been sent one." And it's like, oh no, we didn't send you it. Here you go. So I filled it out quickly, all got sorted, and they're now saying that I wasn't going to be needed on Monday, and I'm probably not going to need to start until next week. So starting from last night, I started shifting my body clock back. But last night I didn't sleep till 5 a.m. I woke up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon today. So my body clock is still a mess, and I've just had a confirmed offer coming in with a starting date, I assume. I've not looked at my email yet. I'll be doing it after the live show. But just as I'm starting to bring my body clock back, I might have to actually staying up all night until Monday. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's my little story of the week. Have any of you worked night shifts before? The only positive I find of working night shifts is the fact that I can sort of stay up with my friends from around the world on different time zones. So I end up gaming when my friends from Australia and New Zealand come online, and I also get to game with my American brothers and sisters. So yeah, I was up to 7:30 on Monday. By the way, 7:30, saying like times like that, I say it, confuses my American friends. They're always like, 7:30, what is that? It's like half an hour to 7, or what is it? I always have to explain that. Bex, it's good to see you here. Thank you. 11 o'clock, yeah. See, that is like just after the night shift works. 2 Christmases ago, I worked night shifts, and I think that was 9 o'clock at night. Or maybe it was 10 o'clock at night until 6 in the morning or 7. And it was really weird because you would turn up for work just as the store was closed and people were leaving. And then you would work just as customers were coming in. And it was amazing that overnight you would just see everything. So like I got put on the alcohol aisles, which I loved, because just when it comes to stacking stuff on shelves for like 8 hours at a time, bottles, I just find that more satisfying, all the interesting labels, and obviously it's nice to have a look at stuff. Yeah, that's great. But then around midnight or 1 in the morning, all the online shoppers come round. So when people do orders online, the shoppers at like, I think they start at 3 in the morning till 6. They come round on their trolleys, and you've just filled up all the shelves, and now they're taking stuff off, and you're like, no. I just made that really nice, and now you've ruined it. You've ruined it all. But yeah, no, thank you. I mean, look, I've told them that I'm only working till the end of the month. And they've been really happy with my honesty on that. So that, yeah, I will be doing that. But I can't wait to tell you about the job that I've got that I'm starting in March. It is in the world of content, and it's for a company that I think is very well invested into the future of society. And so, yeah, I'm really, really, really happy with that. Oh yes, the joys of retail. I do think working in retail is an important life experience to have, though, because I think it makes you have a lot more compassion and care. Not only because you're having to be nice to customers, who can be testing, but also you're on the receiving end with customers, and some customers like to treat employees like dirt, which is horrible. Wow, nice. Good luck for that, man. Good luck for that. Nick Abbott's LBC. Did I ever play? I don't think I ever played the clip, did I, when I was on Nick Abbott's show? Because I didn't have the audio working. I can actually get it working on this show, so I could show you it a bit later. Nick Abbott's hilarious. Cool. Anyway, that was my story of the week. So we should just get to the main topic, I think. No, actually, we'll still talk. The retail life has made me more misanthropic than anything, I think. Okay. You know, it is tough. It is very tough. Yeah, I can find it. I can definitely find it. Yeah, it can wear you down. I've done it throughout my life. I've worked as a hotel host. So I was working. But I think that was interesting because you're like living in a hotel with guests. Guests are even nicer because they're with you for the full time. Ah, I have a crazy story about working in a hotel in France. Let's do it. Because we're 5 minutes ahead of schedule on my written down thing. So, I worked at a ski resort in France when I finished university. No, on my gap year, before I went to university. I was 18. I was the youngest there. It was both the worst and best time of my life because it was a great experience. First time I'd ever spent more than 2 weeks away from home. And I really grew up as an individual. And the different jobs we had included serving breakfast in the morning, working in the restaurant for the evenings, doing afternoon tea, and then also doing housekeeping, cleaning rooms. And then on transfer day, when guests would leave, oh my goodness, we would if we were on the really busy shift, we would work in the restaurant. So we would work in the restaurant until 10 o'clock, and then we'd have an hour break, and then we would prepare for transfer day, and then we would work at serving breakfast for people that are getting up at like 3-4 in the morning for the bus, and then we would clean rooms. So we would work from like 7 in the evening till 10 o'clock in the morning the next day. Absolutely brutal. But the story I had was that I'm just having a look at some of the things here. Cleaning in retail setting is like double time rough though. Oh yeah, I bet. There was a domestic incident with one of the guests where there was some violence between a couple, and what happened was the woman took a swing at her husband, and she caught his eye with her ring and gouged his eye out. And I had to go in the room and clean it after some eye juice. We'd found some eye juice behind the bed. A domestic incident, yeah. I know. Horrible euphemism. I didn't know how else to explain it. I mean, I described it to you, so you can tell me that. I just always remember it. And they were a really nice couple. I served them at dinner. Seemed really, really nice. And then they were there afterwards. But yeah, eye juice. I don't know how else to explain it. What the fuck? Yeah, eye juice. Well, like the eye got gouged out. So she like clipped his eye and a bit of his eye had come out. And so we had to clean it out. I also remember when there was an illness had come into the a virus had come into the hotel, and we were having to clean 12 rooms on a floor, and we didn't have gloves or anything, and then I got the illness, and it was horrible, absolutely horrible. I don't actually know. I think I don't know. It was horrible. It was really, really horrible. Anyway, that was the nice story time. Let's move on to something a bit more. Should we have something a bit more upbeat? Shall we? Yeah. Less about eye juice. Yeah. Let's do that. Cool. I don't know. To be honest, because we were up a mountain in France, I know there were a lot of liberties taken with the way that we were dealing with things. But I want to be careful what I say because I don't want to be liable for slander. Cool. Well, yeah, I think the paramedics were there. Anyway, guys, I think we should just get on. Yeah, happiness is not talking about IGs. Well, we're saying that happiness is not the goal, aren't we? Oh my goodness. Yes. Right, okay guys, we're going to get on with the topic of today's show, which means we are going to start things off with a poll, because a poll is very important. I love it when I go to the homepage on YouTube and my live show appears there. So the poll is this. It's a simple question. And have a genuine think about it. Do you actively strive for happiness? And what I mean by that is, do you actually, is your goal in life for happiness? Is that what you go for? Do you actively think, how can I be more happy in life? Or is it something else? I do get a notification about my own show, I think, which is a good way of testing it. So yeah, if you're watching the live stream, in the chat, have a vote in the poll. And look, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just to get a feeling of how people are when it comes to this. Well, Callie has actually corrected me because I always get this word wrong. Because you say, I settle for contentedness. I always say contentness, but it's not a real word. It's contentedness. Thank you. Okay. I think we do even if we don't know it. Okay. I try to be content or comfortable. Yeah, I mean, look, okay. Well, and this is the crux of what this episode about happiness not being the goal. Yeah, actively is about knowing it. Actively is like having your sights set on it. What is happiness? Well, what is happiness to you? These are all the questions we're going to be discussing today. I just strive to make my life better and deal with life's uncertainties in a better way, which in turn makes me happier. Does that mean I strive for happiness? My brain hurts. And it is different for everyone, but like that is the thing about when it comes to emotions. When it comes to emotions or anything, it's getting a sense of your spectrum. And I think that's why contentedness is the important thing. Janetta says, I've been content too long. I want happiness. Because contentedness can sometimes be a sense of like baseline, just like I'm just in the moment. But I don't know. Happiness is an emotion. No emotion is eternal. Sometimes your mood will be happy, sometimes it will not. It's like Vanilla Sky. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. You know, the sweet isn't so sweet without the sour. I would love to strive for happiness right now. Okay. Well, the poll as it currently stands is, you know, it's pretty split down the middle. I think 60% say no, and 40% say yes. So, yeah, there's that. Oh, well, I've had to ban someone from the chat. Okay, you don't want chaos in your life. To you, that is happiness. Okay, so to me, happiness is a temporary emotion like sadness and other emotions as well. Yep, no, absolutely. So what I'll do is I'm going to obviously be reading the chat. I've written a few notes before just to really get into the crux of this. But for me, it's like there is a misconception in modern day discourse around mental health. The idea that happy is good and sad is bad. And it creates these two camps of what success is and what failure is. There's a lot of people out there that say it's about striving for happiness. Happiness is to be successful. Successful is to be happy. And to be sad can come from failure. And even if they don't say it directly, there is this association with like, we want to move away from sad and towards happy. It's like sadness is the thing you're trying to stay away from and push away from you. And happiness is the thing that you want to move towards. So it's the sense of that you're going from one direction to another. And all of this is emphasized by the nature of social media, isn't it? Because we are bombarded constantly with people's highlights. I remember Robin Williams' 1 hour photo. The idea that, you know, people only take photos of happiness because they want to capture those moments. And so on social media, far too often we are seeing the highlights. We are not seeing behind the scenes. And it creates these notions of FOMO, the fear of missing out. And so for me personally, and this is what a lot of people have already said in the chat already, I say contentness. contentedness is the goal. And it doesn't mean that sad is good or happiness is bad, but it means that it's being accepting of what is happening in the moment. Because, for example, being sad when you've lost someone that you love, if we are going to put a value on it, is a good thing. It's a human thing. You are sad because you are missing someone. You are grieving someone. You are going through the motions of loss. That is a very human trait. And so sadness is to be embraced, not run away from. But happiness can also be a great thing. You might be happy when you're going through that process and remembering the good times. And so really today I just wanted to talk about the fact that for me, happiness is not the goal. Happiness is a chapter. It's a part of the pendulum swinging as much as sadness is. But what can we do, and what do you do, if you agree with me on this premise, to achieve a feeling of contentedness? I would love to hear your thoughts. So do you have to go through sadness to get a happy state? I do think, one is without the other. I don't know. I think people can be in perpetual senses of euphoria. I remember an experiment that was done years ago. I'd have to look it up, where they gave a rat here we go. Let me find this. Yeah, let me find this. Here we go. It was the Neuroscience of Pleasure. This is a bit off topic, but I think it's interesting. The Neuroscience of Pleasure, okay? And it was an experiment. I think it was done with the Skinner box, in which a lever pressed by an animal triggered either a reinforcing stimulus, such as delivery of food or water, or punishing stimulus, such as a painful foot shock. Rats placed in a Skinner box will rapidly learn to press a lever for food reward and to avoid pressing a lever that delivered the shock. Here we go. This is it. In the 1950s, the psychologists James Olds and Peter Milner modified the chamber so that a lever press would deliver direct brain stimulation through deep implanted electrodes. What resulted was perhaps the most dramatic experiment in the history of behavioural neuroscience. We can discuss the ethics of it, but it is a really interesting study. Rats would press the lever as many as 7,000 times per hour to stimulate their brains. This was a pleasure centre, a reward circuit, the activation of which was much more powerful than any natural stimulus. But the series of subsequent experiments revealed that rats preferred pleasure circuit stimulation to food, even when they were hungry, and water, even when they were thirsty. Self-stimulating male rats would ignore a female in heat and would repeatedly cross foot shock delivering floor grids to reach the lever. Female rats would abandon their newborn nursing pups to continually press the lever. Some rats would self-stimulate as often as 2,000 times per hour for 24 hours to the exclusion of all other activities. They had to be unhooked from the apparatus to prevent death by starvation. Pressing that lever became their entire world. I think it's an absolutely fascinating experiment, and again, we can talk about, the ethics behind it. But the idea of when it comes to even when you think of gambling or computer games and mobile games, there is a grind loop that is done where they know how to tap into the addictive personalities of giving you that pleasure that you keep tapping for. But if you had something that could give you direct pleasure to the brain, that is what your brain strives for. I'm just reading what everyone's saying at the moment. Best drug in the world, apparently. Yeah. You think pleasure and happiness are related, but different things. They are definitely different things. Yeah, exactly. Cold turkey, I agree. There is something relative. There is some relativity in the happy sadness thing. I have wondered before how to measure it. There is a pain scale 1 to 10, but does that work for happy? Well, I'll give you an example when I was in therapy, and I did a video about this. Yeah, TikTok, Janetta, absolutely. All the algorithms, but TikTok especially, they know how to keep you hooked for just one more thing. The scale thing is interesting because the video I did was about what it is to be in a good place, and that is where my therapist asked me to write down all the things that I was struggling with, and all the things that I was happy with, and whatever I wrote down, I then had to put on a spectrum. So, for example, I felt like let's just say I felt like a waste of space. I felt useless. So, right, I dropped down. I feel useless, and now I do a spectrum. I do a scale where I feel useless is on one side, and what's on the other side? What would be the opposite? I feel useful. I feel great. I feel beneficial to society. And so I'd write that on the other end of the spectrum. And then what you would do is you would number from 0 to 10. Now, these are arbitrary values. But what it meant was you would then have a list of scales about all these things that you're feeling. And in some cases, you might say, I feel a bit agitated. So then you would say, okay, that's maybe in the middle of the scale. What's the worst and what's the best? TikTok is great. Never, ever get it. And so what it means is you then have this long list. You have this long list of spectrums that on a day-to-day basis or every few days or every week, you would look at this list and you go, where was I before and where am I now? Okay, I feel less of a waste of space. I feel a bit better. And, some days you might feel worse. But instead of going, I've gone fully in the wrong direction, like, oh, I feel sad today, I feel happy. Instead, it's like it allows you to have a bit of nuance, which today it's like, no, today I'm feeling maybe a 7 of happiness. Today I'm feeling a 3. And having that nuance actually gives you a much more grounded perspective on how you perceive your life. And it means that you're not throwing yourself to the extremes of I'm either happy or I'm sad. It's always I'm somewhere in between. And this is the direction of travel. And by getting a sense of the direction of travel, you're able to make amends and look at patterns in your life that are improving it. I don't know if any of you have tried anything like that before, or if any of you would try something like that. But as I said, I've done a video about it on my YouTube channel, which is called What It Is to Be in a Good Place, which, to be honest, is a terrible YouTube name. But let's have a look here. Yeah, this is it. What it is to be in a good place. Hey, everyone. And the reason I'm going to scroll through it is because I think I actually showed the notes I had on it. Here we are. Is this it? No, this was something else. I think I just talk about them. Oh, yeah, I think I am just looking through my notes through it. But yeah, I highly recommend this video if you ever want to do it. Really, really, really informative exercise. Oh, yeah. Talking about social media. I mean, look, my top advice when it comes to social media, and again, it's one of those things that gives you the clicks and the feeling of returning to it, is I have deleted the only social media I have on my phone is Instagram, dating apps, and messaging. But I don't use Facebook Messenger. I have Twitter and Facebook deleted off my phone. Had it done for years. What my top advice is, only use social media with an intention. And what do I mean by that? I mean, when I want to post something on Twitter, I have to sit at my computer and log on and do it. And what it means is when I go to Twitter, I'm going there with a purpose. I'm going there to do something. Because when it's on your phone, as Bex rightly said, the endless scroll, you can just drown in it and it exhausts you. and it's just a cesspool. So yeah, use social media with an intention. I've never seen the appeal of TikTok. To be honest, I am going to start using TikTok for mental health videos because I did them in the past. Yeah. I've done some like Instagram reels, so I'm gonna go back to it and hopefully they will work on there because I think it could be quite good. Just having a look at what everyone else is saying. Yes, it's the dopamine. Thank you. That was the word I'm looking for. And that's what algorithms do. It's the same with gaming. I remember talks about the video game Destiny. What you do is when you have millions of players playing a level, you're able to monitor what percentage of players get to the end and complete it, and how many players don't complete the level. And when they don't complete the level, where do they drop out? Is there a part of this game where they all seem to drop out of frustration or it's too difficult? And so what they can do is they can tweak the gameplay mechanics so that it's challenging enough that there's a challenge to like give a sense of achievement and grind, but not too challenging that you're going to get frustrated and throw down the controller. That's a really important part of good game design. I don't even like people, but I still automatically go on social media. You deleted Twitter, so yeah, I didn't delete my Twitter, or I post about this show on it, but I don't have it on my phone. But yes, purposeful use of social media, absolutely. Adverts do your head in. Do you get adverts before my commercials before my live show? I shouldn't have any running. Bo Burnham, I've actually never watched any of his specials, but is it Inside? Is that his latest one that's going to be really, really good? Okay, that's good. No ads. All right. That's cool. So yeah, I mean, look, for me, happiness is not the goal. I highly recommend Professor Paul Gilbert's episode on my podcast. He was really, really great at explaining this. It's a blessed oasis, your show. I love that. No ads, but I do. I do run on the support of patrons and people that do super chats. So to all you, although YouTubers still never pay me for my super chat, so I do need to chase up on that and find out what is going on, for sure. Is it really interesting? Yeah, I know very little about it other than it was very profound. So yeah. Funnily enough, it reminds me of when my therapist set me an exercise for the week, and she says, I want you to choose 2 or 3 emotions or states of mind, and I want you to find triggers for those states of mind. And actually, it goes back to the intention thing. I want you to seek them, make them happen, and observe them. And I said, oh, I know what I'm going to watch to be depressed. And she went, oh, what's that? And I was like, it's a movie that's been recommended to me throughout my whole life, but also discouraged. People were like, oh, Myles, you would love this movie. But, oh, Myles, I'd be worried about you watching it. And it was Requiem of a Dream. And, yeah, my goodness, that movie eats you away when the credits roll. Happiness, because it's always about hitting that next high. It's the ebbs and flows. Yeah, that's not entirely true. They say that I still haven't sent off certain forms. Yeah. You still haven't seen your 30 cents yet. When you say a horrible movie, you mean, I mean, it is a horrible movie. Like the content, the subject matter is absolutely horrendous, but it's a brilliant movie. It's an absolutely brilliant movie. And I don't want to talk about anything about what happens in it if you haven't seen it. It is one I recommend. But what I will say is it's a movie that when it gets to the crux of it, you're like, wow, this is depressing. And then you think that it's going to bounce back, and it doesn't. It gets worse and worse, and you end up like with your skin crawling. Wow, it's a 2000 movie. Requiem of a Dream. Jared Leto was in it. Has very famous music. 79%. Though the movie may be too intense for some to stomach, the wonderful performances and the bleak imagery are hard to forget. Agreed. I'll read this here because I don't want to give too much away. But imaginatively evoking the inner landscape of human beings longing to connect, to love and feel loved, the film is a parable of happiness, gloriously found and tragically lost. Requiem for a Dream tells parallel stories that are linked by the relationship between the lonely, widowed Sarah Goldfarb and her sweet but aimless son, Harry. The plump Sarah, galvanised by the prospect of appearing on a TV game show, has started on a dangerous diet regimen to beautify herself for a national audience. Yeah. It's a disturbing movie, but absolutely brilliant. Look how young Jared Leto looks. That's the more famous poster people remember. Yeah. It's really, really, really impressive. Yeah, Black Mirror can make my skin crawl for sure. Yeah, that's very much what I heard about The Inside, yeah. He made it during the pandemic. Yeah, what I'd say about Requiem of a Dream is watch it, but watch it with someone, or watch it when you can do something nice afterwards to come out of it, because it's not one I'd necessarily watch just before bed. When people are sad or upset, etc., that people instantly try to cheer up the person up as opposed to let them go through the sadness and come out the other. Yeah, I mean, to be honest though, like, you're right. With good intentions, it can be misinformed of like it's about, yes, because you're then saying like the sadness, because sadness is actually your body reacting to something. Again, if you've lost someone, sadness is actually a good process for reflection. So yeah, no, I'm with you there. But also like keeping busy, because if you give too much weight to the sadness, it can become a bottomless pit that absorbs you. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it. Oh, the first episode. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've actually only watched one of the American ones. But there's a couple of Black Mirror episodes that are absolutely amazing. If I was to be honest, I would recommend this one episode of Black Mirror. There's two Black Mirror episodes from season 1. Let me have a look here. Well, Peep Show that I love. Yeah, National Anthem is the one that you're thinking about. Okay, yeah. So there's only 3 episodes in the first 2 series. So episode 3 of the first series is called The Entire History of You. I'm not saying anything more. Watch it. It's written by the writer of Peep Show. The Entire History of You is one of the greatest bits of TV I've ever seen. It is so good. And then in season 2, it's called Be Right Back. And it's written by Charlie Brooker. And it's absolutely amazing. Yeah. Yeah, Be Right Back. Absolutely amazing. So Be Right Back and The Entire History of You. I'd recommend both of them for sure. By the way, is my camera still not in shot? Okay, sorry about that. It's weird. It's had a black line down the side for a while. I did check it at the beginning. Great. All right, guys. We can come back to this conversation towards the end. I wanted to talk about something else. I mentioned it on last week's show, but we didn't really have time because we had the quiz about fun finds, and I've been talking about this VR game that I've been playing. I've been playing like a few hours a day, and I absolutely love it. I play it with American friends. I play it with people all over the world. And it makes me excited that if Nintendo ever jump into the virtual reality space, my childhood dream of playing where you're in Pokemon would be amazing. And this game is called Zenith, The Last City. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the trailer, and then I'm going to talk about it. And then we can move on if you're not interested. But this is my fun find for the week. This game was made by a team of 16 people. Just 16 people. They already did it with the Virtual Boy. Okay, this is interesting. I want to know about this. Okay, well, this game makes me want to see a modern Pokemon VR game. So, here we are. This is Zenith.
Look at this place. An entire world untouched by the fracture.
Yeah, this game is beautiful. You can fly. Cook. This game I've been playing since launch, and it was £20. I think it was $30. I'm going to keep it playing without the sound just while I talk about it. This game is one of the best VR games I've ever played, and it is amazing. It is an open world, so you come into this VR place with the tutorial, and you can hear other people speaking around you, and there's up to 100 players per server. And PSVR Without Parole that you see there, that I've presented on a couple of times, the community, we have our own guild, the Game Cats Dojo. And so we can all speak on the guild's voice chat, or you can do it in the world where people that are far away sound more distant. And when we all get together, you can have like, there was a bit where there was one of the events that happened that randomly spawn around the map. It was this red circle, and you got to defend it, and enemies are running towards it, and you got to take them out before they get to the red circle. And there was a line of them, enemies running. And like the Avengers movie, there was about 20 of us. We all got in a line with the blade dancers, we're the ones with the swords, at the front. And then the mages behind that can shoot stuff. And they were shooting over our heads. And as they came, it was like Helm's Deep from Lord of the Rings. And everything's happening around you. And this game is just so beautiful. So many worlds. This was developed by a team of 16 people. And I say that, I think the 16th person was brought in for community. The cooking is awesome. So what you do is you get ingredients. So you pick apples off trees and that. So you have to climb trees, grab the apples, and then you can create smoothies or noodle dishes. And then what you do is by eating food, it gives you a buff. So, you know, it's always that thing in video games, you know, like you've just like had your head hit with a sword and you're like half dead, and then you eat like a loaf of bread and it makes you full health. It's like, how does a bit of bread get you full health? In this game, your health just regenerates over time, but by eating certain foods, it might improve your stamina, your rage, which is like your abilities. I mean, mana is what the mages have. It's amazing watching this now. Because I know all these locations, and the map is absolutely huge. This desert area, there's one bit of the desert where we one of us stands on the balcony of this palace while someone goes into the desert. We hit all the enemies once with the sword, so they start following us, and we bring them back to the balcony, and it's massive, and it's like a massive battle. And so just for virtual reality, the thing that also makes me really pleased is my friend Johnny, who sometimes watches the show. He gets motion sickness quite a lot, and I was really worried about this game because there's a lot of movement. Like, you're flying around, and the flying, you actually put your hands out like in a T-pose position, and if you have sensitive on, you actually lean your arms forward to like swoop in, and then if you put them back, you then fly back up in the air. So you can literally swoop down, gain some speed, swoop up, and then look around, and then like throw your swords at enemies and stuff like that. But he doesn't have any sickness with it, and he's having a blast. So for a game that is like £20, it's amazing, and they're going to be adding so much content. And maybe I should live stream it sometime. If I live stream it, I always want to do it where I've got it on camera. But what I'm thinking is, when I move fully back in here, I could actually bring my PlayStation 4 up here, or my PlayStation 5 really. I could bring my games console up here, but I would love to play it on a live stream. I mean, I could live stream it when I get back tonight, but the only problem is just first person, my perspective isn't very interesting. But yeah, does virtual fruit and veg count for your 5 a day? Unfortunately, it doesn't. But I burn a lot of calories playing that game. And yeah, there's definitely Zelda influences. There's a lot of anime influences. Oh yeah, World of Warcraft I never played, but it's very much like that. Yes, I heard about the open world Pokemon game. I would love an open world VR Pokemon game though. You can get these. These are Frankie. These are, you can get them on Amazon and everywhere. Like they're official PlayStation Store. I love that you're here from the pub every week. Good to see you, Marty. And yeah, the swords are great. At the moment, I've got to level 40, the max level, and we're trying to defeat the biggest boss in the game. And there was like 20 of us fighting it, and we still can't defeat it. So everyone's grinding to get resources to upgrade their gear, get legendary gear, and then enchant it. It's really, really good. And also, Zenith Last City map. Let me see if I can show you the map. The map is absolutely huge in this game. Wow. Yeah, this is the map. So over here, the underside here, this is the tutorial area. This is the opening city. And then this is the map. And it is huge. It's absolutely huge. So my friend, I was trying to get him to a place that I could level him up later in the game, which is like Queen's Path. So we had to go from Fractured Plains, which is the starting point, through Radiant Coast where there are pirates, Turtle Top, more pirates, Tangled Cove, and it took us about 30 minutes, and then it glitched and he got sent all the way back to the beginning. But yeah, I mean, this map is just huge, absolutely huge. So yeah, this is the starting city, and then the starting area, Fractured Plains. It's really, 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 really great. So yeah, I'm having an absolute blast of it. Can you learn this? Can I guess the only power you get from going to the pub in the game is amazing drunkenness? That was actually a really funny thing in Grand Theft Auto 5, is when you drink lots, your character does get drunk and he's like stumbling everywhere. There is also a VR game called Drunken Bar Fight, which is very shallow, but very fun. Shallow fun. It's the good kind. It's the good kind. But yeah, all right. I will live stream it sometime. The thing is, like, my PlayStation 4 downstairs, I could actually set it up here. And I did say I was going to do some Jackbox party games here. The only thing with stuff like Zenith is if I was to live stream it on the PlayStation 4, there are like much more loading screens than that. And obviously it's not as good as a PlayStation 5. In an ideal world, I will have 2 PlayStation 5s. And to be honest, I could sort that out at some point. I could save up and get a second PlayStation 5, have one up here, have one downstairs. Yeah, I've injured myself while playing VR, not from like hitting anything, but I've had my friend clock me when I was trying to move the cable. But I've had injuries from like strain injuries and stuff like that from just playing so much, because you're using so much. So yeah, it can happen. Yeah, all right. I'm going to put this in the chat. I'm curious to know before we wrap up the show. Right. Here we go, guys. This is the poll. Have you ever experienced virtual reality? I'm just curious to know. And when I talk about virtual reality, obviously you get the Google Glasses. I'm talking about games, like game headsets, where you have like 2 controllers and you've actually got, you know, games developed. I'd love to know how many of you have and haven't. Virtual reality, obviously it's a lot more difficult at the moment with the pandemic. But I do think... I predict that Grand Theft Auto 5 R VR is going to come out. I know they're doing San Andreas in VR. That's going to be happening, which should be interesting. Interesting. Oh man, God of War is amazing. Horizon Zero Dawn I love. Okay, interesting. Anyone going to vote? I'm going to close the poll down now. So more of you have said no, I think, than yes. And the thing about VR is there's such a big like... Okay, 55% have said yes. But do you remember this? Let's go to this, actually. This was 3 months ago. And this was when I was playing Resident Evil. And I was so scared that I was just going around in the in the laundry room, and I wasn't able to go through the door because I didn't like it, because it's just so immersive. Still there. I mean, Resident Evil 7 is without doubt one of the scariest gaming experiences I've ever done. Because when you're walking down these corridors, you tell me they don't look real. Look at this. These are just... The graphics are insane. It feels so real. And what you don't appreciate is when you're in virtual reality, you have depth perception. You have one screen for each eye, so you get a real sense of space and presence. So I'm running around there and like not sure what to do, running away from this serial killer. And what's crazy is there's stuff that happens in this game that's amazing. So like I think I get in the car. Let's go back a bit. Yeah, this is it. He literally gets on the roof. I'm in the car. I ram him into the wall. Trying to kill him. And I'm like, he just keeps getting up. And I'm like, where's he gone? Where's he gone? And then suddenly... There, just the roof gets ripped off. And he's there. And he starts controlling it. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, I think that VR and film storytelling could be really, really powerful. It does. It very literally transports you to a different place because you also have sound in each ear. So like when stuff's coming from the right, you do feel present. You know, when you think in a horror movie, you're just looking at a screen in the distance, whereas in a horror game, you are there. You are there. Oh, no worries, dude. No worries. You can always tell us your answer in the chat. But yeah, I'm definitely going to do more virtual reality live streams because they are really good. They're really, really good fun. Cool. All right, guys. That is it for another week. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone for tuning in. We haven't decided what we're going to do for next week, but to be honest, next week, I'll come up with something. I know creative writing was something that Callie had mentioned before. We can definitely talk about creative writing. Also depends on what happens with my home. I might be moved back in at that point. I know, the hour goes really fast. Do hit that like button if you haven't already. Really, really appreciate it. And hey, Joseph, good to see you here. No, thank you for tuning in. And like, you know, there's going to be a lot of people that watch that don't say anything in the chat, and that is totally cool. I really appreciate it. And I just hope that sometimes when I do these topics that are a bit more prescriptive, I do worry, like, are they a bit boring? But hopefully you've enjoyed today. Even though, you know, talk about happiness isn't always an entertaining topic, but it's just something to be a bit more thoughtful about. But we definitely covered a lot of ground there. And yeah, I'm also just a bit out of it because of my my body clock is all over the place. So yeah, felt a lot less, right? Cool. Well, listen, as always, I am really, really grateful. And I guess we're just going to play this out. So, yeah, the new PlayStation headsets, PSVR 2 is going to have haptics in the headset as well. So you're going to be able to feel rain hitting your heads and that. So, yeah, it's really, really cool. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Don't forget that you can follow me on Instagram. Instagram is where I'm most... Why am I doing it behind there? Instagram is where I'm most active, so follow me there if you haven't already. Patreon if you want to support me. And also, if you want to find out a bit more about me, head over to mylesdyer.com. I've redone my website. I'm pretty happy with it. And also, next week is my birthday. The week after that, do you know what? Next week might be life lessons. 35 years of living on this planet has taught me. And then the week after that is my band's album release, which we're really excited about. And by the way, I can't say anything specific other than I have seen a preview of a review from a major publication about our album, and it is amazing. I was totally blown away. So I'm really excited to see as more reviews come out. So yeah, actually, do you know what? The last thing I would mention actually is there's a podcast called Progression Podcast here 6 days ago. Really, really cool. And it was a great conversation. Look, you can see a comparison on my hair now. Really great conversation about our album and the meaning behind it and stuff like that. Something I would really appreciate you could all do, even if you're not going to listen to it all on Spotify now or anything, is I'm going to put the link in the chat, is if everyone could go to that link, just give it a thumbs up, give it a listen, and just give a comment. Just comment on it if you get a chance, or save it to watch later. It was a much... I mean, I always enjoy having a conversation. It was a really great conversation because this guy wrote 17 pages about our music. And if you want to find out more about the meaning behind our album, Unity in Time, and some of our songs, it's a really great conversation. And yeah, really enjoyed it. Talked a lot about mental health, the importance of unity. Yeah, please do. It was a really, really great conversation. Look forward to hearing your thoughts. So on that note, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I love you all. You're always like one of the highlights of my week. I only say one of because I feel like I need to have a bit of wriggle room in case there's something I'm missing. But honestly, really, really enjoy this. And I will see you next Wednesday. Have a wonderful week. Love, respect, empathy, and adios. Till next time. Thank you, everyone. Love you all. Have a great, wonderful week. Really appreciate it. This is always my favourite part. I've just posted you on my Instagram stories of all your positivity because it's always so, so lovely. What's the song? The song is... I can show you. Hi again. It's called Ocean Eyes J Cosmic. Monster Cat track. This is such a great track. Oh, not adverts. Absolute beautiful song. J Cosmic, Ocean Eyes. Really, really, really good. Cool. Have a good night, everybody. See you later.